So now let's talk about the IAC database. The IAC database's main purpose is to serve as a central hub to store and access the reports that we produce. Aside from that, there's many useful resources on there that will help you throughout your time with the IAC. So needless to say, it's important that you become familiar with this database. So to start off, we're going to want to go to the database website by going to iac.university, and that'll take you to this main page right here. So this page provides a brief overview of the IAC program as a whole, and if you're just starting off, I'd actually recommend that you go through this page. So to log in, you'll just go to the top right and click Login. Now, either Julie or Dr. Powell will have to register you in the database before you try to log in. So they'll input your email, and then they'll actually send you a temporary password that you can use to log in. So once you receive that information, you're just going to go to the bottom and click Login. And that'll take you to the main page for our center's IAC. So as you can see, there's a bunch of links and there's a bunch of drop downs everywhere. So I'm going to be giving you guys a brief crash course on the essentials that you'll need from this webpage. But I definitely recommend that afterwards you just go through and kind of explore what's available, where things are, and just what resources are available. So I'll start by going over this section right here. This provides a high-level overview of the assessments that we've done. So it's broken down by budget period, by annual budget period. And you can see how many assessments we've contracted, confirmed, and some other relevant information. And I'm going to explain what this figure is, the overall implementation rate. So we're in the business of saving energy, and by saving energy, saving our customers' utility costs. And in order to make sure that we're succeeding, we want to make sure that the recommendations that we make are actually being implemented by the customer. And this implementation rate tells us, out of the recommendations that we made, how many did the customer actually implement. So now let's actually go into list over here. So this will show you a list of all the assessments that we conducted, separated out by budget period. So for 2020, you can see that we conducted all these assessments right here. And this gives you some basic info about last visit, when the report was uploaded, and then some metrics regarding the energy bills and sales for this facility. So you can actually click on any one of these facilities to see the information and the report associated with that assessment. So let's go to Beehive Clothing, for example. So here you can see the contact information for our main contact for this assessment. And then over here you can see that the one highlighted in blue is the one that we selected. So in this case it's UU0171, which is Beehive Clothing. So let's actually go ahead and click on that and click on Assessment Upload. So here you can see some more specific information about this facility. You can see these are the questions that we have to ask the customer for every assessment, and we have the responses listed right here. Now on the right hand side, we have the breakdown of the utility bills for this customer. So you can see that we have it broken out into several different categories. So on this one you can see that it's electricity usage. Then we list down the total annual usage for this customer, and that's in units of kWh. Then the yearly cost for electricity usage that we calculated, and then the unit cost, so this is in units of dollars per kWh, is listed right there. And you just get that by dividing this yearly cost by usage. And it's a similar story with electricity demand, natural gas, and then also with water usage and disposal. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you can see all the participants for this assessment. So at the very bottom, we have a list of the recommendations that we made in this assessment. So these are the energy saving measures that we determined would save the customer on their utility bills. And we have the annual savings that these measures would produce right here, the implementation cost, and the simple payback period, which is just the implementation cost divided by the annual savings. Now, last thing that I'll show you on this page is this right here. So if you click on download PDF, you can actually download the written report that we made for this assessment. So now let's go back to the home page. And like I said, there's a lot of things that you can delve into with these drop downs. One that you'll definitely want to go into is IAC technical documents right here under resources. So these are all very useful documents that it'd be worth opening at least once. The two that I'll bring into your attention right now are the ARC Assessment Recommendation Code System and Essentials of Industrial Assessments. So first, let's go into this one. The goal of our assessments is to identify energy-saving measures for our customers. And the National IAC program has a way of cataloging which measures we're recommending, called the Assessment Recommendation Codes. So these are codes that need to be listed on your written report and also on the IAC database when we submit a report. So say that we come up with a measure relating to boilers and their operation. And more specifically, let's just say that we're making a recommendation to the customer to move the boiler to a more efficient location. This is the associated ARC code with that measure. So on the written report, you'll want to make sure that you include that number and also include that number when you're submitting it in the IAC database. So again, for all measures that you do a write-up on and submit in the IAC database, you'll want to refer back to this document and put the appropriate ARC code. So that's it on this document. Let's go back. And now I want to talk about the Essentials of Industrial Assessments. So this is a really good technical document, especially if you're just starting out at the IAC. And this will give you a really good foundation of knowledge to work off of. So this document is broken up into several different chapters, and you can read the ones that you're interested in. So let's say, for example, you're interested in electricity. You go to chapter 4. And this document will contain a ton of useful information about electricity, and especially how it relates to our industrial energy assessments. And what's really cool is that it'll actually also tell you a list of potential assessment recommendations that you can make and how to calculate the savings associated with that measure. Say, for example, on this one, a potential measure for electricity savings is high efficiency motors. So these are really good documents to look through, especially if you're just starting out. So everything that I just went through was in the U of U IAC portal. And again, that was just a basic run through of the most essential things that you need to know. And I'd recommend that you go back to explore more. Now what I want to go into is the IAC student portal. The IAC student portal contains all the information relating specifically to you. So when you're starting out, you'll want to go up here to the top right corner and click Edit Your Profile. And you'll want to fill out all this information right here. You'll also want to make sure that you have a profile picture selected by clicking Upload New Photo and selecting a picture. You also have the Resources tab up here. And what's cool is that the National IAC program does monthly webinars that are led by grad students and industry experts on a variety of different topics. So I recommend that you look through these because there's a lot of really interesting ones that you can watch.